Alright, so in the previous videos we have made the page sections, then we also made the social media section. So in today's video we're gonna build the footer section. So let's do it. So let's go to the components directory and let's create another directory. I will call it footer, and I will create another file, footer.jsx, then footer.styles.js. So let's create a component and let's add it to the app.js file. From components /footer/footer, and let's add footer, and if I scroll down on the bottom we have the footer text. So let's go to the footer styles file. Let's import style components. I will also need the CSS function. So let's create a container component and the tag will be footer, and let's create a column component and the tag will be div. Now inside the footer you can see it is a grid, and the grid has 3 columns. On small screen sizes there will be 1 column per row. And let's add another component, feather image, and the tag will be image. And let's create another component, links container, tag will be div, then create a link, tag will be anchor tag. Let's create a text component, tag will be p. Let's create a subscribe form component, and the tag will be form. And let's create an input component and the tag will be input. And let's create a submit button. And the tag will be button. And let's create another component and it will be input group, and the tag will be div. Then we need to create a legal container component and the tag will be div. Legal container is the component for this text. And finally we will add another component. It will be privacy links. It will be the container for these 2 link, privacy policy and terms of use, and the tag will be div. Alright, so we have created a lot of components, so let's go to the footer file. And again, I'm gonna paste all of the import statements. Alright, so we have imported the useState hook, the feather image, and all of the style components. So let's just remove this div. So let's add a container. And I will add a first column. And I will also give it a class name. I will call it first. Inside the column I will add feather image and the source will be feather image. So if I scroll down we don't see the feather image, so let's go to the styles file. I will change the footer background color. It will be #222. Alright, so this is the feather image. Let's go to the footer again. Let's create another column. Inside this column we will add links container, and inside the links container, actually I have to create another array. I'm gonna paste it here. So this is the linked list, and I'm gonna loop over the linked list array, and I will insert link, and I will put key, and the key will be the link text, and the text will be link. So let's close the parentheses, and if I scroll down, we have this little text. They are the links. Now let's create another column. This column will be for our form. So I'm gonna pass a prop here, form, and let's add the subscribe form. I'll put the text component, and the text will be, actually I will just copy that from the demo. This one, I will just copy it, and I will paste it here. And after the text, let's add input group. Then let's put the input component. Let's add a placeholder of subscribe. Let's add a submit button, and inside the submit button we will put an arrow like this. So let's create an arrow component. I'll paste the component here. So this is the arrow component, so I will insert that inside the submit button. Alright, so finally we will need the legal column, so I will create a separate component for that. So const legal column, I'll put a column, and I'll put a legal container, and here I will put a text. I'll paste the text here. Then I will add privacy links. I will add two links here, but I'm not gonna use the link component. I'm gonna use just the anchor tag, and the text will be privacy and policy, and another one will be terms of use. Oops, I've made a mistake. The privacy links should be inside legal container. So let's add the legal column after the form. So if I scroll down, you can see we have this input and also some text. So now let's style the footer. Let's make the container display grid. And now let's go to column. Let's add padding of 6 rem for top and bottom and 2 rem for left and right. And also let's make it display grid. Now I want to move everything at the center, so place items to center. Place items is the short form of align items and justify items. Let's make it position relative. Now in the first column you can see we have this divider, so we're gonna add that divider to the column which has the first class. We have passed it to the first column here, so we want to select the column that has the class name first, and we want to add an after pseudo selector. So column component that has class of first, and I want to add an after pseudo selector. Let's add an empty content and background color of hex value D8 D8 D8. Position will be absolute. Bottom will be 0. Now on small screen size, that divider will be horizontal. On bigger screen size, it will be vertical. Let's add height of 0.1 rem and width of 70%. And let's add left to auto. And let's change the opacity to 0.2. And let's make display block. Alright, so our divider is looking pretty good. Actually, let's go to the footer file, and instead of passing the form pop to the form column, I'm gonna pass it as a class name. So let's go to footer styles. You can see that the form column has different background color, so we need to change that. So the component that has the class name of form, I want to change the style. I want to add a background color of hex value 2A, 2A, and 2A. Then I will add padding left of 5 rem and padding right of 5 rem. Alright, so let's go to the feather image. Let's change the width only to 70%. Now let's go to the links container. Let's make it display grid and grid row gap of 3 rem. And let's make justify items to center. Let's go to the link component. Let's add font size of 1.6 rem and text transform of capitalize, then letter spacing of 2 rem, sorry, not 2 rem, 0.2 rem, and position will be relative, and cursor will be pointer. Now we need to add this hover effect. Let's use the after pseudo selector. Let's add background of an hex value 38f, empty content, position absolute, and height will be 0.2 rem, and left will be 0, and let's add bottom of 0, and now let's add top of 3 rem, and width will be 100%. Now we don't want to see the underline, so transform scale x will be 0, and transform origin will be left. Now when we will hover over the link, we want to see that effect. So on hover, I want to select the after pseudo selector. I want to change the transform property. I want to make scale x to 1. So now if I hover over them, you can see we have the effect, but let's add transition. I want to animate transform in 0.3 second is in and out. And if I hover over them, you can see the effect. So now let's style the text component. Let's change the font size to 1.6 rem, and line height will be 2. Now let's go to the subscribe form. Let's select the text component, and we want to add a margin to the bottom of 5 rem. Now let's style the input. Let's remove the border. Then color will be white and background will be transparent. Now let's change font size to 1.8 rem and font weight will be 600 and letter spacing will be 0.2 rem. And if I type something and the text looks like this, but you can see that we have this ugly outline, so I'm gonna create a CSS mixing for that. So const, actually I will add that to the top. So const no outline. Now mixin is a chunk of style that you can reuse on other component. So I just want to select the focus pseudo selector and I want to make outline to none. So let's just go to the input and I will add the no outline mixin. Now let's change the placeholder text style. I will remove this text. So placeholder, I want to make color to white and text transform to capitalize. Now let's go to the submit button. Let's make background to transparent and border to none. Cursor will be pointer and we will also add the no outline. I will copy this. Now in the arrow component, the SVG element has a class name of arrow, so we need to style the SVG with this class. So let's select the arrow class and let's fill the SVG with white color. Width will be 2 rem and height will be 2.5 rem. And you can see we have this SVG. Now let's go to the input group. Let's make it display grid and grid template columns to 1 FR and 5 rem. Let's add border to the bottom and the border will be 0.5 rem, solid 0 3D and align items to center. And now let's add padding to the bottom and it will be 1 rem. Alright, so that's it for the input. Now let's tell the privacy links. Let's make the display flex and justify content to space between. Now let's select the anchor tags. Let's make color to white and text decoration to none. And actually I have made a mistake, so let's go to the footer file. So inside this anchor tags I need to add the text component. So text, and the text will be privacy policy, and I will copy this one, and the text will be terms of use. I will delete this anchor tag. Alright, so now it is looking pretty good. So our footer is done for the small screen sizes, and that's it for today's video. So we have completed all of the page sections. Then we have also created the social media section and the footer section. So in the next video, we're gonna build the header. Then also we're gonna make the website responsive. So that's it for today's video. If the video has been helpful for you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. Alright, so stay safe. Goodbye.